welcome to Galway. We went to the Costcutter just so I could pee. And the guy heard Nathan's accent and gave us free ice cream and the bathroom code. So cute.
I could see this being busy later. I could see this being busy later.
America could never. In fact, they would sue you for having a reaction in their dining room.
I know the door says that we serve. Oh, that's fine. Evoke a sweet, subtle heat from the finer from the Mara.
Lord help us. We're in a hurricane. They canceled Killybegs and we're having to flee a storm by going the opposite direction. I don't get to see the cliffs that I signed up to go see because we have to live and survive. So we're at karaoke and I didn't even get to sign up for anything. I was gonna sign up for Rock You Like a Hurricane, but everybody's doing Frank Sinatra and shit. We're anchored out in the middle of nowhere. And of course the navigation channel is showing me where I am in relation to fucking Africa. Here we go. We're supposed to be in Killybegs. But we had to save ourselves. Zoom in. Not a small boat on the ocean. Jeez Louise. We're anchored down in the middle of nowhere, and they're playing the damn Electric Avenue on a ship where we all could die like this. Oh. Well, that's Dublin, everybody. This port got canceled too. So, there it is. Well, that's Dublin, everybody. This port got canceled too. So, there it is. Alright, since it's day 2 of being trapped on this godforsaken boat with these people, we're gonna do my hot girl hair tutorial. Step 1. You brush your curls into a frizzy mess. If you don't have curls, good for you. Now you're gonna pick out the top section like you're gonna do a half updo. And it does not have to be perfect because it's probably gonna get fucked up in a minute anyway. So just roughly find a chunk of hair that you want to shove through the hole of your hat, because you don't have the flat cap that you were going to buy in Dublin because you're not in Dublin. All you have is the redneck trashy trucker hat you bought in North Carolina. We're going to stick our hair through our trashy hat hole. There, that's better. Once you get your half-hearted piece of frizzy hair settled, you're going to take your hat, stick your fingers into the hole, pull the hair out through the hole. And at this point, it's not the right height. Other hairs are coming out with it, and I'm just letting it happen because I don't give a shit anymore. At this point, I'm gonna brush upwards on this to keep it the bushy, frizzy mess that I wanted. Oh my god, what is happening? Flip that sucker up. Get you a clip. Puff it out. Figure out why one side is bigger than the other. Oh shit. And ignore the fact that your armpits are broken out from the $45 laundry you got done on the boat, because they don't have self-service on Norwegian. You're at their mercy, and their detergent does this. Ta-da! Now your hat's not gonna blow off when you go outside to escape and pretend that you're outside in Dublin when you're trapped on a cruise ship with 2,500 other people that think this is their special cruise featuring 2,500 other people putting their mouth on the cranberry juice dispenser. Girl, I cannot do this. The idea of doing a transatlantic cruise where you're on the boat for 12 days and then you get off in a new place no. I did not come here to do 45 minutes of karaoke and then the rest of the night is bingo and buying jewelry that's marked up and you can't look up the real price on the internet because you ain't got internet. Since we're here, more about the cranberry juice lady. She didn't actually put her mouth on the cranberry juice dispenser, but what she did was bad enough. So the juice and the water and the coffee dispensers all have big signs on them that say, "Do not refill your water bottle here." And I saw firsthand why that sign is there. She had not like a big wide mouth hydro flask. She had like a little Dannon spring water bottle cap, about like this. And I looked up during breakfast and she put that mouth of that water bottle on the water and then she put it on the cranberry juice. And then she drank it and poured it into the water drain that says this is not a drain. It's just like the tray under the water. And then she drank it again and then started her process over. And I'm like, oh my god. Oh my fucking god. And she went through several iterations of getting ratios, drinking it, and dumping it in that tray. And then a glass came in to the equation. She had a cup and she was doing stuff with it too. But then she was drinking out of the bottle and then putting that up there. She took forever, and it was different combinations of using a glass for not what the glass is there for, and using the bottle for what you're not supposed to do with the bottle. And I saw somebody that works here see it, and they didn't say anything. So I'm like, oh, it's a miracle that this isn't a floating vessel of tuberculosis. And that's where I'm gonna be all day. And then, this is a different situation. We went to lunch yesterday, and we thought, since we're trapped on this boat, we might as well go to the fancy lunchroom and wait in line and get a seat and all this. And we were several groups back waiting in line with the host. And I could hear her ask everybody, hello, good morning. We have a beautiful table next to the window if you're happy to share. Are you happy to share? And then some people were saying, no, we'll wait for a table on our own. They said, that's fine, you can wait. And then everybody in line, hi, we have a beautiful table next to the window if you're happy to share. Are you happy to share? Yeah, I'll share, let's go, da-da-da. A few couples don't want to share. If you do want to share, that's fine. She's asking everybody, and it's the same routine every time. And we got up there, and she's like, blah, 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 blah. Do you want to share? And we say, yeah, sure, we'll share. And so then they walk us over to this table, and they start setting us down across from this couple. And she was like, all right, you're going to be sharing with them. You happy to share? And the guy looks up, and he goes, no.
At first he says, what?
Yeah, I guess he said, oh, what? But I didn't hear that part. All I heard was the no. And he said it to her like she was the biggest idiot on planet Earth. And he said, and she didn't tell us that it was. And I looked at Nathan, I said, yes, she did. Yes, she sure did. I just thought that was the rudest. I mean, they moved us, obviously. And Nathan was like, that's fine. We don't want to sit with them anyway. But it was rude. Not that they didn't want to share a table, but that when that poor host said, do you want to share? They said some whatever, put me by the fucking window, I guess. And then got over there and was offended at the instruction. And right in front of us, looked at us and said, no. So we got sat with this shy old British couple who, we started peeling back the layers, and they were legit. They were probably 80 years old. And they were funny as fuck. They sat down kind of like, and then we started talking to him, and Pam, that's my girl Pam, she started, hee-ha! We got him. Why y'all gotta act like that? Like this is your special cruise featuring everybody else. I feel like, even if I didn't want to share, at that point, I'd share, because I don't have the audacity to be like, get the fuck away from me, actually. Be like, might as well talk to the people that are here. They might be nice. We've liked everybody that we've ended up talking to.
Why would you get on a boat with 2,000 other people if you didn't want to talk to anybody?
Well, because this is their special cruise featuring everybody else.
So they can book a fucking yacht.
They're just as broke as we are.
$14, $18, $22, $26 and $4, $30. There you go. Or Derry or wherever we're going to. Anyway, our pilot is John. Say hello, John. Good morning. John, I'd like to remind you, seatbelts are bit of your security and your comfort. And the emergency Mackenzie, the world's big cargo, they employ about 600 workers over there. There it is over there, about 10 o'clock. See clock tower, because the river flows underneath it, and it meets the river Lagan, just where we are now. And that's the crossing, that's the mouth of the river at the crossover point. Belfasta, Belfast. Come on the right. What you're going to seal the lid in this here and drill a half-inch hole for your worm to go into that there. Now, remember, you're sealing the lid on the still. Do not be sealing the lid on your fermenting bin, okay? You seal the lid very careful. So anyway, your fermentation, you add that to your still. You heat it up to 78 degrees, and that's when your fluid will turn to alcohol, and it'll rise up as a base. vapor right through the worm, through the condenser, which turns it back into liquid again and trapped down into your kettle. And there you go. You got your own still, and you got your own alcohol. The savages from the dark land. The savages from the dark land. In the right, claiming to be the oldest pub, not the oldest, everybody claims that. The highest pub in Ireland is the Pond de Rosso, now known as Paddy Joe's. So from up here, for to just be £3 billion worth of gold, I would imagine there's an awful lot more. Danny Boy, the London Dirty Air. You ready? Here we go. Oh, Danny Boy, the pipes are calling, and all the leaves are falling. It's you and white with snow, for I'll be here in sunshine or in shadow. So Danny Boy, that's where we are now. London Derry. Over to the left is dedicated to those who lost their life. You're now entering Free Derry. So over to the right, take it easy. Just over there to the right hand side. Then the paintings over to the right, the murals now. Turned out it wasn't, it was a dog peeing through the roof. The dog's pee was dripping down onto the cheeks of the Virgin Mary. Oh, I'm a sinner, being trouble.
Saltaire on it. The Union Jack has the Saltaire. Back then, they had electric tools. So you can imagine 34.
Down in the fountain, that's a fountain in there.
I would die as an honest, strong Frenchman in Ireland fighting for an English king. It's so complicated.
Walker was also, they were both Anglican.
Because when you're on an island,
Some people have Mecca.
Happened to fly from America to France, and she went a wee bit off course, just slightly. She ended up here. She thought she was in France when she was talking to the local. I spied a head upon the bed where my old head should be. You're drunk, you silly head, full as drunk as you could be. It's only just a baby boy to me. Many days I've travelled 100 miles or more. A baby boy with whiskers on I never saw before. Saturday night, you better hurry up, trying to get through here. Right, I come home on a Saturday night. I was thrust where my old hand should be. I said to the wife, I said to her, I kindly tell to me, who owns a hand upon your breast where my old hand should be? Ah, you're drunk, you silly old fool, as drunk as you could be. It's only just a brassiere my mother sent to me. Many days I've travelled 100 miles or more. A brassiere with fingers on I never saw before. There you go, welcome back to ship. I had myself John, thanks very much for coming along with us.
So they market these towards men. However, that's just because they never saw me in one. The last day is the day at sea, so all you have to do is pretend you're in a 90s music video and lean up against the window and look out there. Except for it's really windy and everybody feels sick and they've got the barf bags out again. Yep, here's the most exciting thing that's gonna happen today. There's another boat out there. This is a weird angle to be at. I freaking hate Darcy. So, here's a book I read. This is by an Irish author. She's from Dublin. It's called Where I End by Sophie White. It's a scary book, but it's mostly a weird book. It won the Shirley Jackson Award. You know, she does scary stuff. So if that tells you anything, this isn't a real book review because I don't know how to do that. It is, she's giving me Stephen King vibes in that there's like some just icky stuff going on in here. It's sort of like Misery meets mommy issues. And if you don't like nipples, don't read this book because there's like a lot of nipple stuff going on in this book. This is my Birds of Ireland field guide. I don't like it that much. It's pretty enough, I guess, but my Georgia and Montana book guides are better because they organize the birds by color. And this, it's like you sort of halfway kind of have to know what bird it is before you look up what bird it is. I bought this because I don't know the fucking birds here, and you gotta already know them to find them in the book. This is Paddy's Lament by Thomas Gallagher. It's a very detailed account of the famine, which if you know, you know. The famine was not a real famine by the definition of the word famine. They had food, and the English shipped it back to England. Is how that goes. And then that was a really good account, and I learned a lot by reading Paddy's Lament before I got here. I know you didn't come here for a book review, but also, what did you come here for? My vlogs don't have any kind of theme whatsoever. We got a bus to Heathrow Airport, and that was when everything quit making sense. We have a hotel at the Heathrow Airport, so we just had to get to Terminal 4 to get to our hotel. And, the plane train that takes you to Terminal 4, it said 20 minutes for Terminal 4, then it said 40 minutes, and then they said if you are going to Terminal 4, you actually have to take the London Underground to get to Terminal 4, so now we're having to buy train tickets to go somewhere else inside the airport, because this is not Atlanta. There's like 10 fucking trains, and the one that takes you to Terminal 4 is a one-way loop in the wrong direction. Which is fun. That's so smart. Why didn't I think of that? A one-way loop where you go the opposite direction. Oh, look. Let there be light. Anyway. Yeah, anyway. Wow, so smart. I didn't think of a one-way loop where you can only go the wrong way. Fantastic. So we bought train tickets to move through the airport. We're also going to use them later, so we got a day pass. So part of this is our fault. But also, we get back on to go the other way, and we get to Terminal 4. And then once you're at Terminal 4, the signs for the hotels disappear. The hotels, they're outside. You can see them from the thing. And there's a pedestrian bridge somewhere. There's no signs for it, so we just spiraled down a parking garage with no sidewalk and cars coming. And finally got close enough to the hotel to where there was like a guardrail and a big grass hill. And we hopped it and went down it because there's no signage for anything. We finally get to our room, and luckily they had a room ready quick. So that was great. But the lights don't work unless you put your card in a card slot. And you can't see the card slot because you're in the fucking dark. Oh, well, why don't you just open a window to let light in? Oh, that's because the window, you're inside. There's this big, weird, indoor, fake carpet grass thing. That's the reflection. Yeah, those are other people's hotel rooms. We're inside. There's the cafe. There's no light coming in. I feel like I'm in a crisis bunker. Alright, so just an update. The guardrail that was mentioned, we were on the highway. We were fully on the interstate. That was an on-ramp for the airport exit that we crossed with all of our luggage. When the elevator for the train spits you out at the terminal at the airport, all the signage for the hotel... Oh my god, I got coffee on my face. All the signage for the hotels disappear. The next sign for it is fully a football field away behind a pole. Because I went back and I found signage, but the only way you're going to see the sign is if you already know where you're going and you're already there. So we trusted the Google Maps pathway for how to walk to your hotel from the Heathrow Airport. Don't. You'll get out there, you'll end up on an overpass. When you try to get off the overpass, you end up in a parking deck with no sidewalk. And then you end up on an on-ramp and you have to hop a guardrail and fall down a hill with all your luggage the dumbest shit I've ever experienced in my life, and it's partially our fault and partially their fault. Also, my train pass that I paid for never worked. So I was all emotion, no logic by the time we got to this point. But that's because the Heathrow airport beats all the logic out of you for hours and then spits you out onto the fucking highway. Nathan says, why isn't there a sidewalk? What kind of stupid ass country doesn't put a sidewalk on the interstate? I'm never gonna forget this. I never want to go to London again. I don't know how we're gonna... he wanted to go to the Natural History Museum and was so crowded. And it doesn't matter what direction you're trying to walk. It's all wrong. I didn't even get no videos because it was so crowded. Nobody wanted to learn about the exhibits. They just were rushing from exhibit to exhibit, taking selfies. And I couldn't even get to my phone because I was being rushed around and pushed around by teenagers. They shouldn't have let us in without a reservation. It shouldn't be free. I'm not a hypocrite. They shouldn't have let us in there. This is our favorite kind of hotel TV.
Decisions based on fear are largely selfish and irrational. Should the government confirm that aliens are visiting Earth?
Going out is all about coming home. So I don't want anyone to think I didn't get them a souvenir. It's a bag. That's their favorite thing. Hi, Lois. Hi, Vincent. You want to see your souvenir? It's a bag. Hell yeah.